let me dive in. Just to start it off, the reason we're, I guess, qualified in thinking about this area and more importantly delivering on this area is that we do have in the team some pretty solid AI expertise. Without blowing my own trumpet, because it's completely irrelevant now, I used to do expert systems in the 90s, which was kind of Gen 1 AI, which was the rule-based stuff, which was dominant at the time. But of course, all the recent excitement is the neural network-based stuff, which wasn't considered viable in the 80s and 90s. But anyway, so again, say some of us have been around long enough that we've been aware of this and monitor it and have practical experience. I guess the more recent stuff and the machine learning stuff, we've applied machine learning into an app called Somos Brazil and helped people with making it possible to see things through image detection, which again is much more common for everybody now. And then the chat bots, of course, which we'll be coming on to about how we're thinking about them. We did some early prototyping with an app called Ask a Pirate, just to check we understood how everything worked and we could do a nice implementation for people. We also know how to make secure use of large language models so that you don't have to share all your things with the world and you can use content that's just in your own private domain. And we're on the AI Expert by Digital Leaders panels. And up here is our very own Ben Clayton, who's our kind of main expert in this field. And the ideas that we're exploring are these, and I'm going to take you through each of these first two in more details. We're looking at how we can use generative AI to create landing pages for you, as part of the kind of app proposition. We're looking at, again, how the chat interface could be embedded within the app to provide new benefits to people. We're certainly always mindful of how we can leverage AI to help make accessibility content even more prominent for people, because it's an area we're very passionate about, and we'd love to have the Place Experience platform apps be the kind of gold standard in making it easy for people to know about access needs and providing things for people with access needs. And we're using ourselves to kind of speed up and add value for money in how we're able to develop things and develop the platform. So digging into the first one of those ideas, generative AI landing pages, why are we doing it? Well, we're conscious that there's a problem that is kind of growing now because of the new advances in AI, is that mobile apps are actually, compared to everything else, which is just a web search, are actually quite hard to find. And I know, with our current clients, we've been suggesting ways, and it's lovely when you can put QR codes up around places to let people know that you've got an app. But, not you have to kind of be there to see that. And so discoverability is a bit of an issue with mobile apps. The app stores themselves have thousands of apps on it, and the way that you search an app store, unless you know what you're looking for, you may not uncover your mobile app. And we know that people tend to use web search engines to search for things they don't know about. So again, the likelihood that people would find your app is diminished. And the other trend that we need to think about mitigating is that more and more people now are using AI for searches. Just from a personal experience, so I was just on a family holiday, and my stepson actually was using ChatGPT to advise us on what to do for day two of a tour around Cyprus with our hire car. Putting in things like who we were, what we needed, and everything else, and it did come up with a really good itinerary. So again, if we're wanting, as we are, many in the audience are people who are responsible to wanting to kind of make sure your places are available and found and explored by people, we want to make sure that we get discovered. And again, so I think to address these, if we can make it easier to create landing pages with long form content, it can increase the chances of your app information being available for those people who are using these kind of search and AI terms for it to come up in its suggestions or its citations. And so forth. So that's kind of why we think this might be a good idea. And what Jules has managed to do is create a proof of concept that we can do this. And what he's managed to do is to use AI with the content that's in the content management system, all of that content, crafted with a kind of a specialized prompt to be able to then generate this landing page. And the key thing then to address those problems is that landing page will have the right search engine optimized web content. It'll have the metadata and keywords, so that again, it's more likely that those AI algorithms will then find your web page and go onto it. And our thought being is, if we were to develop this, that then that's something that we can create, and we could host it as Calvium as part of that, just to aid that, or we could depending on the client, it could be embedded or hosted on your own websites. Again, that's technical details. And here's the kind of prototype one that we ran on the Stroud content. I think people from Stroud are here, but ignore on the left. Jules only put it in CMS as a place to hold it as a trial. This would be its own kind of web page, but this is what we were able to produce automatically through that Gen AI process. And so again, it gives a nice kind of landing page bit about that, and then and here a call out to be able to download the app. So again, that kind of whole journey between discoverability and that, just so that then hopefully then the people that you're trying to attract have more chance of finding your app and drive them to it. Sorry, let me make sure. Yeah. So the benefits then, we talked about a landing page. So effectively, a landing page is a kind of a single page app based on the web. So we'll call that a web app. And just that kind of single landing page that we've demonstrated we could do there will make mobile apps more discoverable in a standard search. But some of the other stuff I was talking about is kind of the increased use of AI. And so expanding the scope of the content there. So at the moment we had kind of headline content, quite simple. But we can use the same mechanisms, and you'll see how those mechanisms kind of come out in that more naturalistic way in the next idea we're looking at, which is the chatbot. We could potentially kind of generate much more expansive content that is more than just the bits in your app. So for example, we can ask it, what can I do this weekend in Wiltshire? It can use all the Wiltshire content, create a nicely formatted, thing, and we can add that then to the web app, which again makes it easier for the AI to find it. And the benefit there is it's using your content, so the long form quality will be kind of still your voice. It won't be whatever else it's found on the web. It'll be stuff that you've already put in there, and it kind of then emphasizes your brand and your trustworthiness. So again, people can associate it with you better, and all those things are the things that the AI and traditional search engines will prioritize now in their algorithms. So just trying to play to the current algorithms so that it enhances the fact that hopefully then people aren't using ChatGPT and coming up with old rubbish. They're coming up with your carefully curated and up-to-date content. And we kind of create then this whole linking system between web and the mobile app itself. So I think I did have a little experiment there as well. So the kind of long form content there that could be generated. And this was asking it to generate content that was just based on information in the Visit Wiltshire app. This is what I mean by more expansive. So it's kind of doing this kind of thing and giving it a little bit more compassion. And then because it's actually got more words in, the AI indexes will call that long form content and do more with it. So that is idea number one.
So Jo, could I just check I understand that one? So
Yes.
with the long form content, what you're suggesting is the content that you've just shown us, that you would put that onto the page that you showed us, which is currently in the
In
that
here.
one that's currently
Yes.
in the CMS.
Yeah.
So you'd add more content there.
Exactly. So at the
Perfect.
moment, again, this was a technical proof of concept, so that the content on here is quite sparse. But what we could do is then have a section here on what to do this weekend and have the content I just showed you. So
Great. And
exactly.
that's generated by AI.
Yes,
Great.
that's the idea.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Great. So that's idea number one. Idea number two is how we can use those same mechanisms within the app. And for this, Jules has again developed a proof of concept, which I'll show the video of it running because it's a bit clumsy for me to type live and everything else. But basically, to have an interactive chat feature that allows people within the app to use that kind of natural language interface rather than going through currently, the search feature in the app and everything else, rather than typing search and doing something else, or going through the sites and looking for things they can just ask in that natural language way as well. And as you see, Jules has kind of added it and called it a concierge version at the moment. And this is all just proof of concept. And I think on the next slide, I'll play the video of him doing it. So as you can see, we've prototyped it, so there might be some preset prompts as well as free text. And Jules here is saying, I'm a wheelchair user. Please tell me where I can go to see some art. And again, it's off thinking, as those of you who use AI will know. And then it comes back again and so it's using the content in your app and returning them as cards. So it's just replaying and using the content in that, but allowing that different interface on it. Here again, this shows for those who missed accessibility, we know we're building up the capability within the app to add provisions, access provisions in for venues as well here, which you just got a glimpse of. Here's another query, some information about wheelchair provisions in Bristol. And here again, it will return in it within the app in that PEP thing, kind of those sites that had put in those provisions. So again, if you've got good content in there, then this interface just uses it to return what in this form. So hopefully you get the idea. But where we've demonstrated is that it can be embedded quite nice in a similar interface and interwork with the rest of the PEP app. And here we're moving on to events. So again, it kind of the way it's using all of that data that you've already put into the content management system in a summarized form and finding it and then rendering it and indexing it with the AI. And there we are. It's typically the benefit of just using these large language models is it has its own inbuilt intelligence about knowing whether it's got enough information or not, and will come back. So really, I think we're looking at ways where we can use AI to augment the efforts you've put into putting in all your content anyway, and putting it in good form, so that there's different ways that the content can be delivered depending on personal needs. Great, so that hopefully gives you a clear view of what was that? Yeah. So the benefits of doing something like that. It does give a kind of alternative interface for people other than that hunt and search. So you get instant gratification. So, you know, if you've got very personalized needs, you can give that a try without wondering, well, which tag would I use? Which filter would I use to find and then dig down? So it's an addition, it's an and rather than or of the kind of good searching and filtering things we already have in the app. It's potentially more dynamic, personal, engaging way. And again, if you've spent all that time putting a load of information into the content management system, it may be that some users still don't find it because they have, you know, it's harder to discover through the interface than by this interrogation. And as I think the video demos, those kind of fine grain requirements can be accommodated, and we've kind of managed to put it into the interface. So really, it means that we could extend the kind of detailed content that could be held in the content management system, and only expose it through these kind of forms, because it's personalized to people's needs without messing up the nice kind of clean design of the app as it is now, which in particular is good for access needs. And building on that, we are often using looking at ways of making it easier for you to put more in about accessibility. So one such example is we could build in easier AI-driven capabilities to generate image descriptions so that you can use them in captions or in alt text. So, you know, within the content management system as it is at the moment, you have an image and you have the capability of adding the caption to it. Again, for people who have screen readers on and are blind, this is particularly helpful. And one of the things we know, and in fact another picked up from another expert, was that actually AI is far better than humans at doing this. So again, you know, if I was to had the job of having to put in the alt text for the picture that's shown here, I might just say, you know, young woman holding phone with headphones looking out. I gave this image to ChatGPT, I think it was, and this is what it comes up with. It asked it to create the description of it. And here, you know, the description is far more beneficial for somebody without sight at filling in the detail. You know, here the photo shows a young woman standing outdoors holding a smartphone and wearing wide headphones. Yep, we could get that far, but then it goes on. She's looking off into the distance away from the camera. Her blonde hair is tied back, and blah, blah, blah. And so if they're listening to that through their text to speech, at least you're literally painting the picture for them, rather than just having to that kind of lesser experience of just hearing, well, there's a woman with a phone. So again, I think that's an exciting prospect. And then, yeah, and again, of course, the other thing that I guess we're all doing is examining how AI can help the requirements to kind of add more multimedia. So again, within our app, we have, within the Place Experience platform, we have the capability of having audio files, and if you have the skills and the people available to actually create nice things. For example, again, Wiltshire have got a nice Wiltshire accented person and celebrity to voice over their introductions and so forth. But it is much easier now to kind of give scripts to good Gen AI things and get fairly decent audio. So at least then, it's not as great as being able to do it properly, but for more cases, I think at least then it gives those richer dimensions of experience for different people. And then, and vice versa, taking original audio and generating the scripts so that deaf people could see it better, and captioning videos, all that sort of stuff we're exploring. And then last but not least, we're also kind of always looking at how AI might help us help you to get a good service from what the platform delivers. So one of the requirements for the app stores every time we have to update the apps is to have what's new, and so Jules created an AI-powered what's new generator just to speed up that process so that we don't have to spend so long picking out and remembering and writing that. And then we also added things like this default place boundary with this apply suggested, so that when we create new places, you can put apply suggested and it'll return and put an outline place, which then when we hand over to you to set up your place properly, you can more easily then adjust it rather than having to do it all from scratch. So hopefully that's given you some food for thought about the kind of things we've been playing with.